In the quiet suburbs of Brighton, Michigan, 17-year-old Ethan Cole is a boy who lives in the shadows of his troubled home. His mother abandoned the family when he was a child, and his father, a bitter man numbed by grief and alcohol, barely acknowledges his existence. Ethan's only solace lies in his daydreams of faraway places and the warm, kind presence of Leah Foster, a girl who shares his passion for exploring the world beyond their small town. David offers a special gift to his childhood crush, Millie, a snow globe containing the Eiffel Tower, a nod to her dream of one day exploring the world. But their moment is shattered when a bully named Mark seizes the globe and tosses it out onto a frozen river. Determined to retrieve it, David ventures onto the ice, only for it to give way beneath him. Swept away by the freezing current, he fights for his life, and then, impossibly, finds himself inside the town library, soaking wet but alive. It's in that moment David realizes he can teleport, vanish from one place and appear instantly in another. Overwhelmed by his troubled home life, he flees, and in his absence, his alcoholic father assumes he's perished. Years pass. Now a man, David lives a life most could only dream of, leaping across the globe in mere moments, indulging in extreme sports, luxuries, and thrill-seeking adventures. He funds this lifestyle by teleporting into vaults and helping himself to riches. But even as he sees tragedies unfolding on the news, disasters where his powers could save lives, he turns a blind eye. One night, after a day of pleasure and recklessness, including an affair in London, David's carefree existence comes crashing down. An intruder named Roland, part of a secretive group, invades his home. Armed with high-voltage traps designed to stop teleporters, Roland nearly captures him, but David narrowly escapes. Shaken, he returns to his hometown, drawn to Millie once again. But danger follows. Mark, the same bully from his youth, attacks him, and in a flash, David strands him inside a bank vault as payback. He reconnects with Millie and convinces her to join him on a trip to Rome, traveling by conventional means to keep his secret hidden. Meanwhile, Roland, the relentless leader of the group that hunts teleporters, convinced that only the divine should possess such power, uncovers David's trail after finding Mark in custody. David and Millie arrive in Rome, where David struggles to conceal the truth about his life. They grow closer, share intimate moments, and explore the city. When they visit the Colosseum and find it closed, David discreetly uses his abilities to grant them entry, telling Millie the doors were unlocked all along. But inside he isn't alone. Another teleporter, Griffin, appears, battle-hardened and wary. He warns David that the hunters are near, zealots who have pursued people like them for generations. The hunters attack, and in the chaos, Griffin eliminates one and vanishes with the body. David tries to escape with Millie, but the authorities detain him for questioning. While in custody, a figure from his past appears, his mother, who abandoned him when he was a child. She gives him the keys to his restraints and warns him. If he wants Millie to survive, he must go now. David complies, telling Millie the police released him and they leave. But Millie, suspicious of his secrets, demands answers. Instead, David sends her home. David turns to Griffin for help locating Roland. Griffin reveals the truth about their enemies, fanatics determined to wipe out teleporters, seeing them as unnatural. Griffin shares his own history of loss. The hunters killed his parents, and he's been hunting Roland ever since. David rushes to his father, finding him gravely injured, and gets him to safety. Then, determined to protect Millie, he convinces Griffin to assist him at the airport. But they're too late, her plane landed an hour earlier. Griffin arms himself for battle while David searches for Millie. He finds her at home just as Roland arrives. Forced to reveal his powers, David rescues her, teleporting them both to Griffin's hideout. But the hunters follow, using technology to trace the teleportation path. A brutal fight erupts. Roland retreats but captures Millie in the process, dragging her back through the portal. Griffin, driven by vengeance, plans to destroy Millie's apartment and everyone inside with a bomb. David refuses to let Millie become collateral damage. The two clash, battling across various locations, until David traps Griffin with power lines amid a war-torn region. Though Griffin warns him of being outnumbered, David presses on alone. He finds Millie, only to be ensnared in the hunter's trap. Desperate, David teleports not just himself, but the entire section of Millie's apartment, along with Millie and Roland, to the river where his journey began years ago. Underwater, he breaks free, and together with Millie, escapes to safety. As a final act, he strands Roland in a remote canyon, sparing his life but ending his pursuit.